What's up? What's going on, everybody? It's the best night of the week. What's up? Oh my God. Playback. Sorry about that. I'm a pro, don't you know? Oh, what's going on, everybody? It is the best night of the week. It's Tuesday night. Welcome to The Next Show Will Be Better from the Hickson Diaries. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Mandy. In case you don't know already, which most of you do, but glad to have you here regardless. If you're new, if you've been here a while, whatever. Or if you're just passing through, happy to have you regardless. I'm like a walking advertisement today. Anyways, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good week so far. So today, we're going to talk about what's the better city, I should say. New York City or London. Hopefully a fight doesn't break out. If you have a chance and you haven't already, check out the poll, the live poll on YouTube. It is which city you prefer, New York City or London. So far, we have 58% at London and 32% at New York City, with 11% at neither. And if you hit neither, I'd love you to put in the chat what city you think is better than London or New York. I actually have one that I like better than both. But we're gonna just, sit on that for a minute. Maybe I'll reveal that at the end or something. But yeah, so if you haven't voted, vote in the poll. Let's see how what it gets to at the end. Also, we have a little goal. If you have the means, we're trying to hit 5 super chats. So it doesn't matter how much money you send, but if you could send a super chat, that'd be great. If we can get to the 5 super chats, then I will do a special live stream on Friday afternoon rather than a free-for-all fun video. If we don't, no big deal. There's still a video scheduled, but it's up to you. But no pressure. It's fine. I just thought it'd be something fun that we could all do together. Do something different. Keep things, a little variety. Keep things loose. Keep things fresh. Anyways, yeah. So we're gonna check in with you guys in a minute and see everybody that's here. But I'm going to apologize in advance. This might be a short one. I'm in a little bit of a melancholy mood. I'm a little homesick today. And I had a really random daydream on my way home from work about not having anyone from America to come and visit me and see the life that I've built here so far. And it upset me, and so now I'm a little bit sad. But I'm not going to let it affect me for long. I'm not going to let it deter our evening. But if I cut it short or I seem a little bit off today, that's probably why. But anyways, I am really, really glad you guys are here. As always, I couldn't do this without you, quite literally. I mean, I could, as we've talked about a couple episodes, I could do it without you. I have done it without you, but it's not nearly as much fun. So the show only gets better when you guys are here. So let's see who's here. I started talking to a couple of you guys early that were here earlier. I know Sam K is in the house. We got Diane Ogen, who's a member. Thank you so much. We have Imogen in the house. We have Manny. Good evening to you, Manny. Also a member. We have Disco, also a member. Thank you guys for being here. My scroll bar on my mouse isn't working. Lovely. Yeah, I'm having a so-so week, Diane, to be honest with you. It's been a bit up and down. I had a good weekend. Well, Saturday was a little bit crazy. Sunday was really good, though. Yesterday was okay, and today I'm like, eh. So it happens. um, yeah, hope everybody's okay. I'm doing okay, thank you. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Sam. Hanging in there. Yeah, anything you can do. Thank you very much for asking. I appreciate that, Diane. Just being here and taking my mind off it is good enough. Thank you. I appreciate you asking, though. Just remind me that I'm not alone. Uh oh, I hope everything is okay at home, Disco. If you need to, if you need to sign off, I totally understand. No worries. Hi, Stephen Kelly. Thank you for being here. Richard Wilmot, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. We got Falco in the house. What's up? Mandy says, I'm doing great. Thanks, Mandy. And even better for seeing you and everyone on the best night of the week. Amen to that, brother. Is New York City actually still New York? Meaning, I'm not sure I know what you mean. Are you meaning like theoretically because of all the changes? Are you meaning like is the city actually part of the city? Is the city actually part of the state? I'm not sure what you mean. Happy to answer your question if you could elaborate just a tad for me, Sam. But knowing Sam is probably some kind of joke. Stephen Kelly says it's London for me. It's only a few hours away, but I do love New York City. All right. I guess I can let you slide on that one. Emojin said he put neither. You better have a really good one in your pocket. Let's see. In the UK, Glasgow or Newcastle are better. Okay, I haven't been to either of those, so fair. I'm going to take your word for that. Can't comment on the US since only been to Las Vegas. Okay, Las Vegas, I hated Las Vegas, quite honestly. I'm a gambler, and I still hated it. It's really just like one small strip of road with a bunch of casinos and stuff on it, and there's a few things offshooting. That's it, in the middle of the desert. I don't get it. I didn't get it. I would much rather spend time exploring other cities, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm glad I did it because I would have always wondered, but I'm glad I didn't spend too much time there as well. Roy Cousins in the house, also a member. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Glad to have you. Richard Wilmot says, I was born in London and lived close enough to visit often. Yeah, I would like to visit a little more often. We're planning on it. It's just a little hectic. We have such a hectic life. We have to simplify it a bit, but we'll get there. Thank you, Stephen Kelly. I appreciate that. It's not the best feeling at all, but I'm trying to remind myself that I'm in a better place. I'm in a good place. I'm enjoying my life here. It's a positive change and to not get bogged down. But it's hard to not get homesick sometimes. And it's hard to accept, I guess, that you don't mean as much to people as they were telling you for decades. Anyway, Sam Key says, Donald Trump, there, Mandy, every reason to wish to return to America. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not really looking to return to the US to live or anything unless y'all make me for some reason. But I mean, I'd like to go back to visit and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like what am I going back to visit? I mean, it's difficult. Everything's that I mean, I want to see my niece and nephews. So I want to hang out with them, but everything surrounding how that would be achieved is very difficult right now. And I don't know that it's worth the money, the effort, and the time. I have some things that are still back there that I would like to bring to England. So that is incentive. And I mean, my mom is getting up there, and I would like to make sure she's okay. I know other family members are up there and are having health issues, but at the same time, it's kind of like the only reason I know is through other people. It's not like they've reached out directly to talk to me or tell me, or we've actually had any kind of real relationship since I moved here. So is the what's the point, right? Like I'm kind of on that yo-yo back and forth. I did a yo-yo like this. That's not what I meant. I meant like carousel back and around and around and around. And a yo-yo goes up and down. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Hi, Marsha. Thank you for being here. Glad to have you. Diane says, it's natural to feel homesick, Mandy. It's understandable sometimes you'll feel down. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know. I know it comes with the territory and everything. It's just usually, well, my only experience from being homesick is either when I was away at college, which I can always call my family, or my friends at the time, and watching my partner go through it when we were in America, and he could always call home, have someone to talk to, something like that. So hopefully I can find another way to deal with homesickness. Steve and Kelly, thank you so much for the super chat. 1 down to the goal. We only have 4 left. Sam K says Donald Trump is every reason not to return to the US. I'm not really worried about Donald Trump. I'm more worried about the legacy and mess he's leaving behind. And all the people, like I had said this before, even I think even the election, but I'm more worried about the people around him. He's not going to last forever, but and his shiny luster is already rubbing off even on his followers a little bit right now, but there's lots of people around him that have power that are doing things at his, not even at his behest, just he's just allowing them or not saying anything or doing anything about it. So buckle up, world. That's all I have to say. Oh, Disco sent a super chat too. Thank you for being so generous, guys. That's 2. We only have 3 to our goal. If you guys want a live stream on Friday, let me know. Show the love. My mouse isn't working. I think my battery's dying. Emojin says, homesickness is normal. My mother never visits me, and she's only 95 miles away. Sad them, I say. Jeez. Although I have a similar situation. When I lived very, very close to my sister at one point. And my parents would come and visit my sister and not even tell me that they were there. Anyways. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that she's better, Disco. Please let me know if there's anything I can do. Sending good thoughts your way. Stephen Kelly says, I've spent my life traveling the world and I get homesick very often. Yeah, if you travel a lot, I could imagine. I mean, I don't remember when we did the 3 or 4 months of traveling before we left America. I remember I like getting annoyed that I didn't have like a home base to get to. Like I didn't have any place steady to come back to. But other than that, I didn't really feel homesick. But that was on our way to a new adventure. So that might have been it. But that was the only amount like regular consistent traveling I've done. Of course, I've done pockets, but I've always come home and had long stints at home in between. Other than that, excuse me. But I hate to say it like this because it's going to come off as if I don't like to have her around, but I think my kid holds me back when it comes to traveling. And it's not because I don't want her to like be with us or anything. And she's certainly not. She just like when we were doing the traveling, around America, that time difference, there's lots of time zones in America, right? So the time difference was getting her. She was getting tired a lot easier because she's not used to it. And then sometimes she just doesn't want to do the things we want to do. But she's there, so what are we gonna do with it? What are we gonna do about it? Anyways, but I'm not really complaining, in all fairness, because I know in a few years she's gonna be doing her own thing, and I'm gonna have all the time in the world to do my own thing. So I'm not looking forward to that point of life. I just miss being able to have conversations with people that are familiar with life in America that's not my partner or my kid. You know, like just having, if I could just have contact with someone, I think I would feel better. But I have to rely on videos and all the wonderful people that I've met online. But it's just not quite the same, only because they don't know you as well. You know, they don't know your history and everything. Anyways, I'm gonna get bogged down. Okay. Manny says, at the moment, from a safety point of view, I'd say home city of London. I just wish America would get its act together so that we can go to the US with zero fear of being chucked into a gulag. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I mean, it's tough. I've known people that have gone back and gone to the United States and come back that have had no issues whatsoever, and I know people who were US citizens, green card holders, which is permanent resident holders, and people who had other visas, the other kind of visas or residency, and they've had issues. So, it's seemingly random based on, honestly, it seems like it's based on religion and skin color, which are like the fundamentals of freedom in our Constitution. But okay. Sam says, is New York still New York by its age? Oh, well, it's still newer than York, so I think so. Stephen Kelly says, Viva Las Vegas. No. It just wasn't. I think maybe if I was younger, I might enjoy it a little bit more, but I'm not a partier anymore like that. And I don't like to gamble too much because I get a little obsessive and I compulsive about it, and I have problems stopping. So I don't like to be in the environment for too long. And there weren't any good shows or anything that we wanted to see that were around. And we just kind of wanted to move on as a family, to be honest. Old Vegas, like not the strip. There's a like secondary strip, which is like the original strip. If you ever go or you have been, Old Vegas was cool. There's a lot more stuff to do. It just was a lot, just not as commercial. It was still Vegas, but it just had a lot like of the original casinos were there, so that was really cool. It had a lot more, just a cooler vibe, just a more low key vibe. I feel like a less like flashy in your face, fake kind of vibe. Just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth, but it is my show, so yeah, I'm just kidding. Diane says, oh God, that's a sad one. Diane says, I collected my cat's ashes from the vet today and had a good cry earlier. I'm so sorry. Completely understand feeling down, Mandy, so don't feel alone. Thank you for that, Diane, and I'm really, really sorry. I remember when my cat died, cat I had for like 16, 17 years. She grew up with me. I had her got her in like junior high. She moved into my first apartment with me and everything. And then she was even around when I first had my daughter. Like she was around a long time. She hung in there. And I remember when she passed away, I was upset. So I totally hear you. I haven't had a cat since. because I just don't want to. Well, now I don't want any pets because they hold me back. But good base is Las Vegas for the Grand Canyon. That's what we ended up doing, Emojin. We stayed in Vegas. We drove to the Grand Canyon. We stopped at Hoover Dam on the way to Vegas. We stayed in Vegas, drove to the Grand Canyon one day, came back, stayed in Vegas, and then moved on. I think we flew home from there. East from there. But like I would have rather have. I'm glad I did it, and the Grand Canyon was beautiful and totally worth doing it. It was on all our bucket lists. But I probably would have rather like spent an extra day in San Francisco or San Diego or Hawaii. Or even went to another state, saw something different. But anyways. No, I appreciate you being honest, Manny. And yeah, I hope the US sees the light before it's too late as well, but it's just not going down a very good path, is it? It's frustrating. Oh, Sam K gifted a membership. Thank you, Sam. Did you give it to yourself again? Thank you. It's very generous. I appreciate it. City of London, London, or Greater London. Okay, so when I say London, I mean London, because I don't know much about the City of London, or I know Greater London is like the boroughs outside, right? So that's what I mean, because that's the only London I really know. But I do know the other two exist, and I do have something on my list to learn more about City of London, at least. So for me, it's London. I hope that answers your question, Marcia. Which one would you choose, Marcia? Disco says it looks like the U.S. could lose the world. Excuse me. Could lose the World Cup games, huh? Could they? I didn't hear that yet. Well, I'm a little behind on my U.S. news. I'll have to look that up. Is that because of tariffs or travel, or I'm wondering, or safety or visas? Stephen Kelly broke his wrist. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. It's always like I've never broken anything, but I've sprained my ankle, and I've had issues where on my foot where I couldn't really walk very well, and it was minor and it was very hindering. So I couldn't imagine breaking something and having some kind of like long-term illness or disability or something like that where I couldn't. Well, our bodies are so much more fragile than we realize, I think. For me, I don't take care of mine well enough at all. I'm trying, though, in my old age. Sam K says, do people get a dusting of Cheetos dust whenever they go too close to Trump? And is he radioactive with that neon glow? I don't know. I don't know what is it. I don't know where he thought in his life that he looked in the mirror and thought that was the look. Like that was gold for him. I don't understand. Richard Wilmot says, I first visited New York in the 80s. In my 20s, I had a lot of fun there. Yeah, I bet you did. I had a lot of fun in New York in my 20s too. In the 80s, it was when I went, which was the early 2000s, it was safer than it was in the 80s for sure. But I also had a lot of friends in the city, or people. I would always meet up with people in the city, so I was never like alone. So that was always good. Always makes it easier. Disco says, I'm curious what you may have to bring to the UK from the USA. Oh, it's just I have a couple boxes of like pictures, and back when you used to print out pictures and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of my family, my parents, my sister. my grandparents, and my daughter when she was young and all that kind of stuff. Uh, Also, there's I have a couple photo albums of old pictures that older family pictures from past generations. And just drawings my daughter's done. My wedding dress is still it's in a keepsake, but it's still there. Um, Stuff like that. Stuff that we didn't really want to get rid of, but we didn't need right away. And we had thought that there was gonna be more of a line of communication. We have this flag of my coat of arms and my partner's coat of arms that we had at our wedding that's there. I have a signed Rangers jersey that's still there. I have a Yankees jersey that's still there. It's stuff like that. So stuff that I'd like to have. But now I'm a little bit nervous if I'm ever going to get it, to be honest. Manny says it looks like Canada could benefit the most and it would bring them so many millions of dollars, but it's the Trump administration's own fault for scoring a massive own goal. Are you talking about the tariffs on Canada? I'm not 100% sure what y'all are talking about, but I'm trying to keep up. Sam K, no joke. I was literally sitting, I was like, my partner came home and I was telling him how I was feeling, and he goes, and I was like, all I want to do is cancel the live stream and sit in front of the TV and eat chocolate all night. I was like, but I don't want to wallow, so I'm not going to do that. And plus, you guys always cheer me up, so. Oh, Diane, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. That's 3 we're up to. Yeah, make me laugh. Tell me a joke. So Richard says the other cities are Oxford, which is great, which I have heard, and Brisbane, Australia, which I've heard is also lovely. I've been to Melbourne and just outside of Melbourne. They're both beautiful, but honestly, if I had to pick a city outside of New York or London, it would be Milan. Milan was absolutely gorgeous. I loved it there. It was beautiful. It wasn't a huge city, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I loved it so much. All right, so we got a joke from my mouse is funky today. So the clicking. Okay. We got a joke from Stephen Kelly. What do you call a blind stag? I don't know. I don't have an answer. I don't even have like a guess. All right, I'm going to leave that up until we get an answer. You guys know? Oh, Manny, thank you so much for the super chat. And Sam K, thank you for the super chat. That's 5. We reached our goal of 5 super chats. You guys are awesome and lovely and very generous. Thank you. I will be doing a special live stream on Friday, it looks like, when I get home from work. Woohoo! No, it'll be good. It'll be fun. I had a lot of fun the last time, so. Sam K says that you used to talk with a MAGA maniac. He claimed that America is doing fantastic with Trump and better than third world UK. MAGAs are brainwashed. Yeah. Well, listen, I talk about this a lot on this channel, and I'm not trying to make excuses by any means. I'm never ever going to try to make excuses for other people, but I will try to explain some things just from my experience. There is so much propaganda in America. You do not get real education. You do not get comprehensive, thought-provoking analysis on things. You don't even get all the facts a lot of times. The news is there's always bias in the news, obviously, because people are involved, right? But the bias is not acknowledged. The bias is not dealt with or presented in any way, and everybody just wants to put a spin on it in order to get ratings or in order to push forward an agenda. There's no real confidence in any institutions anymore in America. And it's really, really difficult, unless you are someone who wants to seek truth, to find it. It is really hard. So I'm not making excuses for Meg, because you're an adult and at some point you have to take responsibility for your actions and your thoughts, and your perceptions. But I'm always going to have a little bit of a soft spot, because I was well into my 20s before I started to realize how my perspective was completely fed into my brain my entire life, that it wasn't really my perspective. And it took me a long time to grapple with it and then try to find other sources where I was actually understanding real life and what really happened and all that kind of stuff. So, and to be fair, there's a lot of Americans that think the UK is a third world country for some reason. I don't understand that. But yeah, MAGA, they are definitely brainwashed to a completely different level. True, like hardcore MAGA. I know Diane, the goal was reached. I'm so excited. Steven, that's it. No idea. Damn it. I blame the homesickness, or I would have gotten it. It does, Diane, you're right. It does sound like something he read off like toilet paper or something. Richard says, my late wife got homesick, missing the 30 Celsius and sunshine in December at her home in Cairns, Queensland. That's in Australia, right? I believe. Yeah. Australia is beautiful. I really enjoyed Australia as well. But not gonna lie, I struggled with the accent. I struggled with the accent worse than I do here. I remember the very first day I was there, we went to the grocery store. I was there with my sister. We went to the grocery store, and the gentleman that was checking us out was asking me questions, and I had no idea what he was saying. And it was English. It was just the Australian accent was so heavy, and I wasn't used to it yet. And I could not figure out what he was saying, and she had to translate for me. I was just like, hi. Oh, yeah. Fucking man. I was even worse at stuff like that, too. I was just like, what? I was much more American arrogant at that point. You did help, Stephen. You gave me a joke. You took my mind off. It made me think about something else. That is more than enough. Thank you. Sam K says, if you're homesick, just lean. I think you mean lean out the window while punching in the air in a deep voice chant, USA, USA, USA. Oh, yeah. Disco says, earlier I was trying to find more Canby and Wise singing in the rain sketch, but can't find it on YouTube. Anyone know if it's still there? I don't know. They might have taken it down. Sometimes they do that. YouTube's been going through some changes lately. Marsha says just watch Rocky 4. Yeah, I suppose it doesn't help that a lot of a lot of the American stuff I watch is like documentaries and I listen to podcasts about what's happening in the United States rather than like nostalgic, fun. I should listen to some like music, like American music or something. That'll probably make me feel better. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow on my way to work. See if it helps. Yeah, you know what, Diane, I have been meaning to do that. I have reached out to a couple YouTubers that I know are Americans here in the UK, just to try to have some familiarity, have some people around, but yeah, none of them are close. So, that I know of anyways, that they were willing to divulge that information anyway. And I don't want to put any pressure because they don't know me, right? Um, and there is a Facebook group that I've belonged to, for like expats and stuff, but not many people are very active on there, and it's really hard. I feel like I need somebody that I can kind of confide in a little bit, And the saddest part is I don't, even if I was talking to people in America, I don't know that I would feel comfortable confiding in them. So maybe that's really what's bothering me. Not so much that I've left those relationships behind, but that I don't have a real equivalent yet. Could be it. I will continue to try, Diane. Diane, I do need to explore all of that a little bit more. I just spend most of my time working, either here or my job that pays the bills, or my real job here, or with my family making up time, or trying to like self-care because it's all exhausting. But I really should, like, instead of like watching pimples pop, I should probably try to find another community that I can just be a part of in these moments, at least. We'll get there though. But then I could do things like go to London, and it does make me feel a little better. But I can't go to London on a Wednesday, unfortunately. Stephen Kelly says, I love San Francisco, but in 3 times of being, Alcatraz has been closed. I need a manager. I love San Francisco. We didn't get to do Alcatraz either. We were trying, but we couldn't get tickets. We were only there for like 2 days and we couldn't get tickets. They were sold out on both days and we were really upset. But yeah, I loved San Francisco. It was really beautiful. I wish I could have been there and explored a little more. Are you asking me how am I, Manny? I don't know who you're talking to. Disco says, my borough, the London borough of Havering, wants to leave London and go back to Essex. Why in the hell would you want to go back to Essex? What the hell? It's Essex. Why would you leave London to be part of Essex? Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it's just me. Marsha says, I would choose London and North Bay, Ontario, great poutine. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed Canada when I was there. I'd only been to Toronto and Niagara, right? But they're both cool. Except Toronto is like kind of like the UK. I was in my very early 20s, like 20, 21 when I was in Toronto. And this was my first encounter of things not being open 24 hours a day in the city. Toronto, at least at that time, had a lot of their shops closed early at like 5 or 6. And I remember we were walking around trying to find something to, like, some place to eat. And even the restaurants were closed. And I was like, What kind of city closes down? Anyway, Sam K asks, "What do the Americans think about paying for a massive golden ballroom for Donald Trumpet?" Most of them hate it. Most of them absolutely hate it, at least what I've seen. Look, Americans are starting to wake up a little bit to all of the corruption, but there's so much of it and it's so deep rooted. And there's some of it that's legal. Like it shouldn't be legal, but it's not illegal. Like big businesses being able to donate lots of money to campaigns. Big businesses that need laws passed for their regulations type of stuff. It's like legalized bribery. You don't have to necessarily balance any budgets, and the federal government only controls so much. The state governments also control a bunch. So you pay federal taxes and you pay taxes to your state as well. And the things that your state are responsible for are just as corrupt as the federal government. And most people only hear about federal stuff because that's the stuff that actually impacts, the world or has an overall impact on the country. And the state stuff usually goes under the radar. I mean, there's states out there that are like legalizing getting married at 12. It's like really crazy stuff. Some that are like loosening child labor laws and there's just so much. It's so deep rooted. There's so much going on in America right now. It's insane. And we have a friggin' president that just wants to placate his ego. It's so aggravating. Did you all see that clip of Trump being in Scotland playing golf and his caddy like drops a ball for him in front of the sand? I don't know what it's called, the sand trap, I think it's called, right? Like for him to cheat. Come on. Like you can't even play a game. It's ridiculous. Hello, Mick McCarthy. Thank you for joining us today. It's because of the travel restrictions that the Orange Taco is bringing in. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it scares me a little bit. Like, I'm a little nervous. People in America were telling us that we were overreacting 2.5 years ago by leaving, that it was like it wasn't going to be this bad. And we were just, being crazy. And I was, making a very dramatic kind of decision. And I remember having conversations with my partner being like, I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope that we can look silly, like, because that means that America made the right choices, right? But now looking back, and I'm actually going to be doing another life update video per request by somebody, one of the commenters, and get into this a little deeper. But now, 2.5 years into living in the UK and seeing the first 6 months of Trump's presidency alone, I mean, thank God we got out when we did. Who knows if we would have been able to? There are people that are having trouble getting out. There are people having trouble getting visas right now. And not just on the American side, but there's also other countries that are clamping down on visas for people from America. So it's tough. It's tough. And I remember when my daughter was really, really little and we were talking about getting her British citizenship well before we were ever even thinking about moving to UK. And I remember even my partner was like, I don't think we need to do this. Like, there's no reason for it. And I was like, let's just do it. We never know what's going to happen. She might need it eventually someday in the future. Who knows? Let's just do it. Let's get her in the system. Let's just have it done so that, she has options in the future. If anything happens or she wants to move to England or something like that, like even if it's just on her, wanting to go to college or live here for a while, whatever. And thank God we did. because it made our life much easier when we moved. Disco says it's because the World Cup has to be open to all from the countries that are taking part. Yeah, I was watching or reading something a couple weeks ago about the World Cup preparations that were happening in some of the cities, and I remember thinking that thought did cross my mind. Like, is that going to be able to happen? Really? Don't know. It's a weird thing too when you have. I remember when the World Cup was in the U.S. What was it, 94? I think. 95, something like that. Anyways, I don't remember being there because I wasn't there, but I remember it. I remember it's because America is so vast, it was spread out. Like, there were some games held in LA, there's some games held, which is in California, for those of you who don't know, on the West Coast. There's some games held in New York, which is on the East Coast. There's some games held in Miami and in Texas, which are both in the South. So it's just, it was kind of disconnected. I don't know. There's been so much Manny says there's been so much behind the scenes that the world governing of football, FIFA, I know FIFA, are considering moving World Cup 2026 to Canada and Mexico due to the immigration policies. I wouldn't blame them. Because it's already US, Mexico, and Canada it's supposed to be, right? And then so it would only be moving a certain amount of games. So, oh God, Steven, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. I think Trump would slow it if he was president of FIFA. I'm not sure I know what you mean, Marsha. I'm sorry. I have a broken leg and a shoulder separate. Richard, jeez. Yeah, it is important for me to get them from the States, but I'm not sure how to go about doing that. I had a box of shoes that I needed shipped to me that took almost a year. And that was just a box of shoes. So I gotta figure it out. Okay, Mojin's got a joke. What do you call a blind stag with no legs? You guys are giving Sam K a run for his money this week. I'll tell you. Burger and a Coke will be at the World Cup will probably be $50. Alex, aka Black Cat, has joined us. Thank you so much for being here. And they say, "Hey, fellow American here, but what's the biggest difference between the U.S. and the U.K.?" Hmm. I would say the biggest difference is the individualism that is part of the culture in America versus the sense of community part that's here in the UK culture. It's hard to describe until you experience it, but as an American, you know all too well that the culture is really very much fend for yourself. Everyone's out for themselves. You have to do everything on your own. There's a much bigger sense of community here, not just with like government programs and stuff, because that's kind of hit or miss depending on the government at the moment. But just there's a culture where they want people to be successful as a collective. They want people to actually thrive. They don't want you to be out on your own. Like they want to give you tools to better your life and to do things for yourself. Just even like just how they handle people with disabilities and how they cater some of the community things like roads have at the crosswalks, for example, the roads have bumps at the edge of the crosswalk so that people who are disabled know they're at the crosswalk, they're at the edge of the road and they don't step out in traffic or whatever until they hear the beeps or see the light that it's okay to cross. It's little things like that. I mean, we have the lights to tell you when to cross and stuff, but I don't remember many places having the sounds. And I definitely don't remember any special markings on the grounds or anything like that, at least regularly. So that's just one example of how they're like really trying to create a community where everybody can be active and part of the community rather than just leaving everything up to the individual in America as they do in America. You very much are on your own in America. And here, and because you have that individualistic sensibility in America, when you are in trouble or you have an issue, you often find yourself alone, like having to handle it on your own, even if you're like in public. Whereas here, people will literally like you just have to kind of stop and people will say, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" I mean, it's people are just a lot more aware of the community and making the community better here. So I'd say that's probably, in my opinion, the biggest thing that I've experienced so far. Would you ever consider coming to the UK to visit, Alex? And what part of the US are you from? Richard said New York was dangerous, but so was I. Fair enough. People kept thinking I was royalty. My partner used to say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm good friends with William and Harry." I have tea with the Queen all the time. People believed him too. It's so funny. Neil Morrison's here. Yay, thank you for being here. Sorry, I cannot answer the question as I've never been to New York City. All right, well, what's your favorite city then, Neil? Curious to know. Oh, Neil got your gifted membership, Sam. Very, very glad to have you, Neil. I hope you enjoy all of the behind the scenes stuff. Oh, Alex is a fantastic addition to the channel. All right. Well, we are very glad to have you. We're glad to have all of you. But if you're fantastic, we are even more glad to have you. You can't be more fantastic than me, though, because I won't allow it. Just kidding. Oh. Marcia says, well, there's Wessex, Sussex, Essex, and Nussex. Are you pulling my leg? I know there's Sussex and Essex. I know those are real, but Wessex and Nussex sounds like you're trying to get me to say something naughty. Richard says, I've been to the ends of the earth and at moments have felt so lost at times. I mean, I haven't been to the ends of the earth, but I can definitely share that feeling of feeling lost. And sometimes you're standing there, like in the middle of a park, or you're standing at the end of a trail or something, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I bothering for? I'm mad. Thanks so much, Cal. Thank you so much. There's a Middlesex in New Jersey. It's a county. It was actually the county I was born in. Just saying. I know they probably got it from here, but I'm just saying. Okay. I did want to get to this Paris. I did want to get to this New York London comparison real quick, guys, which prompted the poll question. So 12 reasons why London is better than New York. So we're going to read through this real quick, and I want you guys to tell me if you agree with these reasons or not, as I'm going to obviously tell you my opinion because that's what I do, and let you know if I agree or disagree. And then we'll see how we come out at the end. And then we'll check in with the poll and see where we are there. This is from MSN.com, and it is, I don't have the actual writer's name. Sorry about that. But I'll leave the link in the description box on the replay. If you've ever found yourself in a friendly debate over which city is best, London or New York, you might want to consider a few standout reasons why many people prefer the buzz of London. From cleaner public transport to free cultural treasures, and from historical pubs to the simple joy of a proper cup of tea, London offers a unique blend of old world charm and modern conveniences that can sway even the most dedicated New York fans. Let's see. The tube is actually clean and runs without rats on board. Okay, immediately misleading. Yes, there are rats in New York. I have never seen a rat on a subway, though. Never. Maybe in the tunnel a little bit here and there, but not on the subway. Like you don't see them on the actual cars. That's a little bit weird. But okay. When you hop onto the London Underground, commonly known as the Tube, the first thing you might notice is how clean it is. I will say that the Tube is much cleaner, and your stations overall are much cleaner than in New York, the London ones. Unlike some subway systems where you might have to dodge a rat or two. It's such a bad misconception. The Tube keeps its platforms and trains in top shape. I don't know about top shape, but okay. This makes commuting not just bearable, but actually quite pleasant. Plus, you're not sharing your ride with unwanted rodent passengers, which is always a bonus. All right. Clearly, I disagree with that. Have you guys, any of you that have been to New York and ridden a subway, have you ever seen a rat on the car? I'm very curious about that. Number 2, pubs have actual history, not neon signs and sticky floors. All for that, I do prefer English pubs over American bars by far. Walking into a London pub is like stepping back in time. These aren't just places to grab a drink, they're steeped in history with stories soaked into their ancient walls. Forget neon signs and sticky floors here. You'll find roaring fireplaces, wood-paneled walls, and ales that have been brewed using centuries-old methods. It's an experience as much as a pit stop. 1,000%. And it's not just in London. I found that a lot of the pubs in a lot of the villages have even more character and charm. Number 3, you don't need to tip everyone for breathing near you. That's true. In London, tipping isn't a citywide stress test. Service charges are often included in your bill at restaurants, and tipping isn't expected everywhere you go. This can be a relief for anyone who's tired of doing mental math at the end of every meal or taxi ride in other cities. I find it stressful to know when I'm tipping and when I'm not tipping here in the UK, but I just leave that up to the other British people I'm with. Let them decide. To be fair, I'm returning the favor because it was left up to me on what should be tipped everywhere we went in America. Number 4, green spaces everywhere. Parks feel like actual parks. Yes, this one I have to agree with right off the bat. I don't even have to read the blurb, which I will in a sec, but I do find that the parks are much better, much more well-maintained. There seems to be a bigger variety. They're spread out more. They're more abundant here in the UK. And they just seem more relaxing overall. London's parks are more than just patches of grass. They're expansive, beautifully maintained, and filled with gardens, ponds, and trails that invite you to forget that you're in a major city. Well, New York City has Central Park, and it is quite large, and it is beautiful, and you do kind of lose yourself when you're walking through Central Park. You don't feel like you're in the middle of New York City, so I'm not sure about that. I mean, you have many more parks overall. You have much more green space overall here in the UK, but if you're just comparing, like, the parks in London versus the parks in New York City, I don't know. That might be an even one for me. But you do have a couple more in London, but London's a little bigger than Manhattan. So, yeah, this one might be a wash for me. From the Royal Greenwich to the serene Regent's Park, these green spaces provide a perfect escape from the urban rush. Number 5, the architecture, Gothic, Victorian, modern in one block. That is true. That is very, very true. The buildings are, I mean, obviously some of them were rebuilt because of World War II and etc. But the overall aesthetic, I think, is just easier and on the eyes and a lot more interesting in London as versus New York. New York, everything is a huge tall skyscraper with like 50 floors, very modern steel buildings with, reflective windows. And a lot of the older architecture buildings are not really used that much anymore. They've been knocked down and turned into something else. So the landscape, the skyscape is so different in New York. And I do prefer the London one. One of London's thrilling aspects is its architectural diversity. A single block can showcase an awe-inspiring mix of Gothic spires next to sleek modern designs with a sprinkle of Victorian elegance. This blend offers a visual feast for anyone walking through the city, turning a simple stroll into an architectural tour. That is one of my favorite things to do, not just in London, but any European city that I've been to, and any other city in the UK. I remember in Edinburgh, I was doing this as well. Because there's so many older buildings that have been here for thousands of years, you really do you just get a sense of the history. You get a sense of the timeline, right? And you kind of do feel like you're walking back into time in a lot of these places. And that's something that I don't think that New York ever can really rectify because it's just hasn't kept any of that authenticity in small spots, but not overall. Like the city is just not filled with it like it is like a lot of the UK and European cities are. And I'm sure there's other cities around the world that are similar. Number 6, free museums, all of them, seriously. Imagine walking into a world-class museums without spending a penny. In London, all the major public museums like the British Museum or the National Gallery don't charge admission for their permanent collections. This makes culture accessible to everyone and turns a day at the museum into a frequent and feasible outing. Now, I've heard a few other like Americans in the UK tout this as a like plus for the UK, but I don't remember ever actually paying for museums in the US. So I don't know if, in all fairness, I'm not a huge museum person, but I honestly don't remember paying for them. So I don't know if I just had a unique experience or if I was just maybe I just don't remember someone else paying for me. I don't know. So I mean, I'm gonna give this one to London because a lot of other people seem to think that that's a London treat, but like I said, I don't remember having to pay that much. For exhibits within the museum, I remember having to pay for that, but not to walk in. But definitely correct me if I'm wrong. Number 7, you can walk between boroughs without getting lost or dehydrating. London is big, but it's also incredibly walkable. The city is designed in such a way that you can stroll from one borough to another, discovering quaint shops, cozy cafes, and stunning architecture along the way. Plus, the weather is usually mild enough that you won't feel like you're melting on the pavement. I do have to give this to the UK, to London. Uh, London is huge and there's lots to see and do, but it is connected in a way that the New York City just is not. Um, Part of it is probably the age of the city, I would think, and part of it is just uh, I know you have the Thames that runs through the middle, but like Manhattan's an island, and then You have Long Island, it's an island, and Staten Island's an island. And like, there's a lot of parts of of New York City that are just surrounded by water, and they're hard to get to if you're not on a bridge. And there's a lot of stuff that it's hard to get to in the U.S. if you don't have a car. So that's definitely on to London. Number 8, the weather may be gray, but at least it's not humid chaos. Sure, London might not be famous for sunny skies, but the mild gray weather beats sweltering humidity any day. You can enjoy outdoor activities without feeling like you need a shower afterward. And let's face it, there's something quite cozy about London's foggy days. Okay. This is probably my American sensibility kicking in, but I don't know that it's cozy. Okay. I don't really care about the humidity one way or another, to be honest. I've grown up with it, so I'm kind of used to it. Especially going into New York, there's something about the heat hits differently here in the UK, definitely. I just don't I don't know about this one, honestly. I don't think the weather is better because it's gray and wet. Clearly, a British person wrote this. I'm gonna get New York on that one. Number 9, cultural events that don't cost your rent. In London, experiencing culture doesn't have to drain your wallet. There are plenty of free or affordable events, from outdoor concerts and festivals to local theater productions. It makes it easy to soak in the arts regularly without worrying about your budget. That is very, very true, and that I will give that point to London. One of the things I love the most about London is I get the city experience without having to feel like I've wasted my rent on it. And I always have a good time. And we actually just went to London this past weekend, and we took the train in and we did a couple things, and it was not. We even ate in London, and it didn't break the bank. It was expensive, like it was more expensive than being home, obviously, but it was worth it. Like we got to do a lot of stuff, so I will give that to that one. That points to London by far. Number 10, proper tea that isn't served lukewarm in a paper cup. Tea is serious business in London. Forget the lukewarm version served in a flimsy paper cup. Here, tea is brewed with care and served properly hot. Whether you prefer a classic English breakfast or something more exotic, you can expect it to be done right. Okay, sorry, I have to give this one to New York. I'm not a huge hot tea drinker. I know that's kind of blasphemous here in the UK, but it's the truth. I prefer iced tea. And especially when on those humid days. And yeah, we don't take tea nearly as seriously as you guys do by far. However, we do take coffee more seriously than you guys do. So I think that might be more of like a preference of tea over coffee. And I don't know that that's really fair to say that London is better just because you can make tea. I mean, it's a culture thing. But I'm just saying, like, iced tea's the bang. Iced tea's the bang. Iced tea's the bomb. Okay, moving along. Number 11, no sales tax surprises at the till. Shopping in London comes without the sticker shock of unexpected sales taxes added at checkout. The price you see on the tag is what you pay, making budgeting simpler and shopping trips more pleasant. That is something I like about being here in the UK. The price that's on the tag is the price you pay. There's nothing extra, and I don't have to worry about going to a different city or a different county and having a different sales tax. That really is nice. But there's still sticker shock. I mean, there's still some really expensive things in London. So it's not terrible. But I guess when you're talking about sales taxes, I mean, that's just like a general US versus UK thing, in my opinion. So I'm going to call that one a wash as well, to be honest. Number 12, public transport that won't cost $3.50 just to go 2 stops. Okay. Getting around in London can be surprisingly affordable, especially when compared to other major cities. Public transport options are plentiful and priced reasonably, so you don't feel like you're emptying your wallet to travel a short distance. Whether it's by bus, tube, or bike, you can get around easily without breaking the bank. Okay, I guess I'll give this to London. Public transport is less expensive in the UK as compared to is less expensive in London as compared to New York. But I think that again, that's an overall thing. Like most things in the UK are less expensive than they are in the US. So, but I guess I'll give this one to London because it is easy to get around in London. Is that it? That's the last one, I think. Yep, that's the last one. So, what do you guys think? I think I picked London, to be honest with you. So, looks like I might be turning British. You guys are transferring me. I don't like Essex. I don't care about Essex. I don't know that much about it, but I've heard I've been told. Anyways, Buckinghamshire, I don't know where that is. Is that in Essex? Save the Taco Man song as your phone ring. Maybe the Ernie the Milkman one, actually. Trump and the bagpipes and the wind turbines. I know, Disco. God, he's so annoying. Nothing wrong with Essex. I have an Essex joke that I can't post. But there's nothing wrong with Essex. Alex says, I've never been to the UK, although I'd love to visit if I get the opportunity to do so. If you do have the opportunity, I recommend it. There's lots and lots and lots of stuff to do here and lots of things to see. So I do recommend it. Trump is a bagpipe. I don't even want that image in my head, Sam. Gross. Ugh. Marsha asks, did you get out at just the right time? No offense. No, I mean, I don't take any offense to it. Yeah, I feel like we got out at the right time. I feel like if we waited any longer, we might have had trouble. My I mean, we had the fact that my partner was still a British citizen and my child was a British citizen. That is played in our favor. Like it made it very easy because I was the only person they had to worry about. We had a long relationship. Obviously, our child was older, so we'd been together for a while. We could prove all of that. It made it a lot easier. And we had ties to British family here. So all of that made things really easy for us in comparison of what it could have been. But I feel like if we waited longer, we would have been under so much stress. And my daughter is would be technically considered a first generation American, even though I'm an American and I have a long lineage in American, as being an American with my heritage, because I don't have the immigrants. The last immigrant was my great grandfather. So I have a long standing of being an American, but my daughter technically doesn't, and her father was an American, didn't have an American citizenship. So technically she would be considered a first generation American and could have been deported. Like it could have been grounds for deportation. I just make up words. So, like, those are the types of things we were thinking about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, like trying to see the writing on the wall a little bit. And people were thinking that we were crazy. And now look what's happening. We might have been able to get by another year or so, Marcia, but I don't know that we would been able to survive the entire Trump presidency 2.0. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. It's only been 6 months, you guys. It's 3.5 years left. Emojin says the best YouTube video is by a contributor called Sacred Ketchup. Excuse me. Sacred Ketchup. It's a great handle. Called Scotland Hates Trump. Okay. I will look it up and we'll see if we can have permission to react to it. Thank you, Manny. I am kind of wise. Like an old ass owl. I was just like, my thought process, I'm not a genius by any means, obviously. But my thought process is always I wanted to give my child as many options as we could afford for her future, because I didn't really have that many and I had to kind of figure it out as I went, and a lot of my adulthood was figuring it out and I didn't want her to have those burdens. So if there was something that could make her life easier, even if it was just as far as like travel or having some place to go to get away, right? She could always come and visit her grandparents or whatever. Then she could have it and she could just do it and it would make her life easier. So anything that we could do to make that anything in the future easier for her. It worked out for us all to be a lot better for everybody, but I appreciate the thoughts though. Uh-oh. Alex is coming by. Alex is going to come by. We'd be happy to have you. 1994. Yeah, that's what I thought. Manny says, the last men's FIFA World Cup was in the US in 1994, and the Women's World Cup has been hosted by the US in 1999 and 2003. That's because the women's US team is pretty good. The women's game, I mean, it's getting much, much bigger now internationally, but the women's game in America has always been a little bit bigger. I remember when I first met my partner, he was kind of surprised he had to coach like young girls and women in the US, but it was huge. Richard says, I broke my leg playing cricket at school and had it set without any ANWM. I don't know what that is, but I assume that painkillers, etc., that kind of stuff. Piper, hi, hon. Thanks for joining. Thanks for forgetting us. But we're happy to have you here now. Thank you. Marcia says, America has so much to offer. It's such a shame. You're right. We do. I mean, America does have a lot to offer. The issues that arise with America are the expense. Because even if you can find a reasonable budget, you still have to travel so far to see everything. Here in the UK, obviously, everything's a lot closer and a lot more, compact. So that adds it. And then I know you guys say that you have your own world here within your own group, but because it's so compact, it still kind of spills over a bit, and the overall culture is not as different. In America, the different regions in America are different worlds. It is a different point of view, it's different thought processes, it's different opinions, perspectives, education between the Northeast, the Southeast, the Midwest, the Gulf, the desert area, the mountains, and the Northwest and California. And then you have Alaska and Hawaii thrown in as well. It really is kind of like, I can't remember. I saw the really good maps that someone put out on one of their videos once, and I can't remember who it was, and I'm gonna butcher the actual map, but they were basically like, it's not the United States of America, it's basically the 7 states of America, because there's 7 different main regions. because they're so culturally diverse between those regions. Anyways. Alex says he lives in many different states in the U.S. Oh, I'd love to hear about some of them. I've only lived in three. I've lived in 3. Painkillers, 3 months in plaster. Yeah, 3 months. Jesus. Piper said, I voted on the poll and I said London. I've been to New York and it was fun and reminded me so much of London, but I got so cold, way colder than London gets. Yeah, the weather, the temperatures are more extreme in America by far. And the thing is about like winter in New York is because of all the skyscrapers and stuff, and because it's built as a grid, the wind just whips right down the street, like for 20, 30 blocks, and you cannot get away from it. It's brutal. Piper says, I work in London and it's way more familiar, so you feel more comfortable. I hear you. I love London. Don't get me wrong. I love London. I would live in London if I could afford it. New York cheesecake. I'm not a huge cheesecake fan, but I've heard New York cheesecake is the best. But New York pizza and bagels, the best. God, I would kill for an everything bagel right now. A nice big slice of greasy, gross pizza. Manny says, what did you think of the Lionesses Euro 2025's triumph in Switzerland last week? Did you watch the final? I did watch the final. It was really exciting. I enjoyed it very much. I was surprised. We've actually seen the Lionesses play live, and it was fun, but I wasn't as into it. But this year I was very much into it, and I think they made it too exciting the last few games. And I think once I knew that once they tied it up, I was like, holy shit, they might actually have a chance at this. And I was like kind of nervous watching the penalties, I'm not gonna lie. But it was good. They pulled it out. It was great. Wessex actually used to be the name of one of our Anglo-Saxon kingdoms way back. Is there still a Wessex though, Piper? Like, does it still exist or no? All right, Stephen. My favorite city is Pompeii, but nightlife is a bit dead. It's crazy. London's definitely bigger than New York City. Yes, I agree. The kingdom of Wessex is very powerful. You guys understand that it sounds like a made up kingdom in a children's book, right? I mean, is that just me? You're a little daredevil, aren't you, Richard? Cirencester used to be the capital of England. Here we go. Cirencester. Cirencester. Ay, ay, ay. When was that? I'm curious, Marja, if you know when, like originally, like back in William the Conqueror timing. Depending on where you are, the tube is very dusty. It will sometimes come out of the tube and your fingers are dusty. I mean, but the thing is about New York is New York subways, I think was what they were getting at, Piper, is that they are like dirty. Like not just dusty, like garbage, pee, other stuff. Like they're dirty in many areas. Falco says, in a recent poll, Edinburgh was voted the best place to live in the UK, and Worcester came second. I lived in Worcestershire. Just saying. It was probably voted that way because of you, Falco. You know, if you weren't there, maybe it would have been number 1. But But Edinburgh, listen, Edinburgh, one of my favorite cities. Love it, love it, love it. Probably my top 5. Edinburgh, definitely. Roy Cousin says there's mice that live on the tracks in the London Underground. Yeah, I'm sure there are, but the thing is about there's not just mice, they're rats, and they're like the size of a kitten or a small cat. Like or a small dog, some of them. They're huge in New York, and they're everywhere. Cheesecake's your favorite thing. Oh, I don't know. Can't the rats afford the fare? No, they get a free ride. Stephen Kelly says that he's a great skier, but he never learned how to stop. Fair. That would be me. Never skied before. Witherspoons has sticky carpets. That is fair. That's very fair. And I'm with you on that one, Marcia. I love the pubs here. I know they're having a hard time right now because of the economy, but I said that if I ever come into a decent amount of money, that I would buy property on one of the high streets, and I would, go into partnership with the pub to keep it open, like a local pub, because I love it. I think it's great. If I had lots of money, I'd do it for lots of people, but I don't have any money, so high aspirations, though. You get altitude sickness when you ski. I might not be able to do it. Oh, good night, Neil Morrison. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the membership perks, and we'll see you next time. Have a good week. A pub called the Golden Lion in Rumford has been there since 1482. Wow. Romford. I don't know where Romford is, though, but I'll look it up. I'm actually going to start that so I can look it up. 20 flights of stairs to the toilet. The Witherspoons. Yeah. Although I know Witherspoons are kind of like the low budget diner like equivalent, which I have no problem with because we went to diners all the time in America. But and I love them. But the Witherspoons are better in the sense that they're huge and you do have to walk up these like ornate steps to get to the bathrooms, and it's just the way it's laid out and everything. It's just the history's there, dude. Do I know a seven English word without a vowel? A 7 English word? You mean a 7-letter English word? Is that what you mean, Marcia? I got you on that one, Minnie. Yeah, I like St. James Park too, Piper. Oh, thank you, Alex. I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. If you wanted adventure, try Central Park after dark. Yeah, well, now definitely. As someone who has been to Central Park, while it is large, I do prefer our parks just because we have way more and plenty of beautiful parks. I think our biggest park is Richmond Park, which is bigger. Could be. Yeah. I mean, the thing is about Central Park is Manhattan is such a man-made city, right? And it's such a planned out city specifically, and there isn't a lot of green space. So I guess that's kind of, in my eyes, what makes Central Park so special, because it is really this beautiful, massive green space in the middle of this high rise, on the go metropolis. Could just be me. It could just be that that's what I'm used to and that's what I love. Yeah, maybe. Like, I'm not a huge museum person, so it is entirely possible that I just went to the free ones. Plus, when I was little, we didn't have a lot of money, so it is very, very possible that we just sought out the free ones. That could be it. Manny, you do quizzes for your group? That's cool. TJ's not here. I don't know if you guys know TJ's work in progress. She's on vacation. Lucky git. Um, but yeah, she does cool quizzes too. Maybe you guys can do a quiz together. That would be fun. Um, yeah, I can hear you, Emojin. A couple days ago, it was pretty friggin' humid here. The weather, the temperatures hit very differently in the UK than they hit in London in America. And if you're not used to them, I mean, I still struggle with the weather patterns here. Not just the patterns, the actual extreme weather. The heat is actually the equivalent in Fahrenheit when it's hot or cold is something that I'm used to, and I'm like, when I look at the number, I'm like, "Oh, that's not that bad. I can handle that." And then I'm in it, and for some reason, it feels more extreme. Okay, I'm trying to catch up with you guys in this chat. I'm not 100% sure. I know about Liz Trust, yes. In Glasgow, we have Paula County Park with an art museum, country house, Highland cattle, riverside walk, just 20 minutes out of the city center, a beautiful park. Wow, okay. Yeah, I heard a heat wave is coming, Manny, but thank you for letting me know. It's been windy like crazy the last couple days. Emojin says that Glasgow has Glasgow Green, and I'll be there next week for the pipe band competitions. Championships, sorry. Totally just said whatever I wanted to say there. Well, good luck, and I hope you do well. Iced tea is a cup of diabetes. No, it's not. If you have sweet tea, then it is. This is iced tea, unsweetened, and it is delicious. The only thing it's missing is some turkey. But it's because I have to work tomorrow. Richard said pipe bands are good outside and several miles away. That's not right. I'll remember the first time I saw when we were in Scotland, when we were in Edinburgh, one of the first things that I saw was a Scottish bagpiper. And I was like, I'm in Scotland. It was really cool. Okay, let me ask you something, Mick. Since you brought up fishing, you can't fish here. You can't keep the fish here, right? So what's the point? This is an honest question. I'm not really judging it. I just don't understand the what do you get from it if you catch a fish and you have to send it back, put it back? That's what I don't understand. My dad used to fish and he used to catch and release, and I never understood it then either. So I'm earnestly asking. Mojin says he thinks that article was written by someone who'd never been anywhere in the UK other than London. Yeah, because it definitely sounds like they had a very, very strong attachment to London. Marcia says Essex girls. Is that something I should be wary of? Guys, just be careful giving out your locations and stuff just for your own safety, okay? Just bear that in mind. Essex girls dance around their handbags in clubs. Huh. Why is that a bad thing? Because I know people who've done that. Not me. I tried never to bring my purse with me because it was just a pain in the ass. Oh, geez, 4:30 AM. Good night, Emojin. Have a good sleep. Thank you for staying with us this long. Yeah, we're well over. I would assume mine would probably be the same way. A good definition of a gentleman is someone who could play the bagpipes but doesn't. Oh, don't worry about it, Alex. Please use this as a forum to catch up with whomever. It's nice to meet you, Alex, and I'm really happy to have you here. Disco says, I love living on the edge of London, so I'm next to the countryside and easy to the tube to central London. Yeah, I would say that would probably be where I'd want to go. Not for me. I don't care so much about the countryside. I don't mind going to the countryside, but it's not as important to me as being near London, in my opinion. But that would be a good area for, because I don't live alone, right? So. New Jersey pizza, they say rivals New York pizza. Okay. This is the thing. New Jersey pizza is great, but you have to find a local hole in the wall pizza place for it to beat New York pizza. The thing about New York pizza is it's you have to get out of the touristy areas regardless, right? But it is greasier, in my opinion, than New York pizza. And sometimes though, you want the grease. Spoken like a true fat person, spoken like a true fat American. There, honestly, the best pizza I've had in the US was actually from a Pennsylvania hole in the wall mom and pop place, to be honest, which is unusual. But it just happened to be it was somebody who was an immigrant or their family was an immigrant, was an immigrant family, and they had the original recipe and everything for the sauce, and it was delicious. Everything they made was delicious. It was everything. They had all the pastas and everything was delicious. Oh, that's okay, Alex. You can ask whatever questions you want, but if I were you, I would save them until next week, only because I'm about to wrap up a little bit here, because we are well over. We usually don't go over 90 minutes, just because I am a working girl, not that kind of working girl. Although I'd probably make more money for less hours. But my partner might have something to say about it. Manny says the Lionesses certainly didn't do things the easy way, but they showed some grit and resilience to win the tournament, especially given Lucy Bronze played through the tournament with a fractured tibia. I like those kinds of stories. I don't mind, if you're a good player or you're a good team and you consistently do well, I don't mind it because you do earn it, right? But I think there's something about those types of games where you come in from behind. Sounded terrible. Where I don't know how to not say it crass. I'm just gonna say where you're the underdog, you're down, and you fight your way back. I like that kind of story. I'm an American. We like the underdog, the unsung hero type of story. So I always like that in sports as well. Piper, I highly recommend you visit Edinburgh if you get a chance to. I would take a weekend, like, I would just take a day off when you have a day off or when you have a couple extra days. I would definitely do at least 2 to 3 days there because there's tons and tons to see, but I would recommend it. It is amazing. It's a great city. I would have loved to see the lionesses in London, to be honest. Oh my gosh. Do they have bakeries like that in London? Please send them to me. Please send me a link to where I can go. I'm gonna be doing a pizza tour to try to find good pizza. Everyone keeps telling me it's such good pizza in London as well. All right. I have to go, you guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, I have to go. I'm having fun talking to y'all, but I do have to go. I'm gonna be a mess tomorrow, and I actually have some meetings and stuff. Um, ooh, a live Mandy quiz, huh? Heard, heard, Steven. Agreed. TJ's quizzes are always fun. Did you guys, if you guys haven't seen it, the her last quiz, go find the replay on TJ's Work in Progress is the YouTube channel. I make a guest appearance. Just saying. What's the date of the 12-hour Mandy-thon? First of all, I wasn't gonna call it that, but now I think I might. I am thinking September. I had a date in my mind, but I don't know if I'll be ready for it. So it's gonna be either September or October, depending on if I can get my ass together. But I will announce it as soon as I have, like, I know that I can actually do it because I don't want to announce it and then like have to cancel it or reschedule it. So I just need like a few more days to get myself together. But I will announce it in a community post probably. But I'll probably let the members know ahead of time because I might need some feedback from you. But thank you for reminding me, and thank you for reminding me to tell everybody that it's coming. So we will be doing a 12-hour live. I will be doing a 12-hour live. It's all about raising money for the Royal British Legion. So any super chats or any revenue that's made from the live will go directly to our fund for the Royal British Legion. We're trying to hit our goal for £1,000 for the year. We're doing very well. We're on a good track, especially considering it's August. But just want to make sure we get there. There's going to be some things that we can do ahead of time, and there's also going to be things that we're going to be that we can do throughout the stream, and there's going to be basically it's going to be set up in like increments, time increments, where you can purchase an increment and tell me what to react to or something like that. There's going to be like a level of stuff. So there's going to be, I'm working on it. It's going to be good. Hopefully September, if not early October. So bear with me. As I said, I'm trying to get it all together. I have some other things I got to do behind the scenes in reference to it. Anyways, I have to go. I want to read all of your comments. I will read all of the rest of your comments tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining me as always. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Everyone stay safe. Everyone chin up, Diane. It will get better. I hope your wrist heals, Stephen, and I hope everyone in your family is okay, Disco, and everybody else, whatever you're facing, I hope it becomes more positive as the week goes on. Stay safe. I love you guys. I will see you next week. And yeah, till next time, guys. Bye.